Around it comes, sends one down low, 𝗁𝗏𝗁𝗏. All the way around for 𝗵𝗏𝗺. 𝗵𝗏𝗺 centers one, everyone, 𝗃𝗃 the shot! Pass ahead by 𝗃𝗁𝗃 was out of the reach of Janello. Haifa will make changes and regroup. IEHL Ben Amo gets that one and sends it all the way down. 3 Tel Aviv defenders back to restart things. Ben front, it's taken by 𝗪𝗏𝗫, and now right wing for 𝗧𝗲. 𝗧𝗲 over the line, curls one back, 𝗕𝗏𝗺 shot, and it went wide. Ben Amo, down low for 𝗧𝗲. Round it comes to Gibson, taken away by Ethan Werik, and he moves through center, trying to get around Vinograd. Vinograd to the outside, tries to cut to his forehand, taken away by Nathaniel Schwartz and sent down to the far blue line. This one's brought back ahead. Werik will give chase against Vinograd. Vinograd spinning away from Werik, but Werik, Haifa recollects and will try to get this one out, but the pressure being applied by Maximilian Reib. So Nathaniel Schwartz will clear the zone. 𝗧𝗏 punches this one back in behind Artur Zilavyan, and Haifa will start a breakout. Horowitz, centering feed to 𝗏𝘁. 𝗏𝘁 sends one all the way down. That's Ariel 𝗏𝘁 wearing the only white. I apologize for getting this stream started late. We had a lot of the box, just trying to play some hockey here on a Sunday night outside of Netanya and Moshav Tnuvot. Both teams in search of a playoff bid. Both teams picking up important wins last week, giving a lot of pressure to the Bat Yam Dolphins for that final playoff spot in the IEHL. This one's brought in by 𝗪𝗏𝗫, and it's gloved down by Daniel Kreiner. Richie, a good start to this game so far.
Yeah, it's good pace so far. Both teams are going up and down the ice. Passes are connecting even on the bad ice with no Zamboni for a few hours now. We'll see if that lasts, because ice conditions can get bad here quick. Well, in the desert, but we're out here, and that's why we're doing it. Help building hockey here.
We've got 2 games to play tonight. We were told the issue with the Zamboni is an electrical one. So they're going to check on it about every half hour. If we could get the Zamboni working at some point, we will try to resurface the ice whenever possible. Here comes Janello through center ice. This one's picked off, brought in by Reib, but a delayed offside. They're going to call it back, and we'll have a face-off at center ice. About 8 minutes and 7 seconds left here in the first period. We'll try and update you as much as possible. If you can see on the left side of your screen, the scoreboard still not functioning here in one ice, but it's Voshilo actually sitting in the box. Janello telling the referee he's got the wrong guy. Janello frustrated, going back to the bench. But a power play coming up for the Mariners, but Tel Aviv getting first clear. Werik will give chase against Dennis Ryder. Behind the net, it's Nathaniel Schwartz trying to fish this one out of the pile. He gets tied up by Werik. Still, the puck on the stick of 𝗵𝗏𝗺 and he moves it ahead. But a penalty coming up against Tel Aviv. 𝗵𝗏𝗺 to Schwartz. He waits, sends one out, is blown dead. Haifa was carrying the puck, and they're going to get called for a penalty. That was a delayed whistle.
Very delayed. I thought it was on Werik in the corner.
Itai 𝗵𝗏𝗺 telling the referee he thought Werik was getting called. Now a discussion over by the Haifa bench, and it's Dennis Ryder going to the penalty box, and there's Janello again having more words with the referee. A lot of confusion earlier on in this hockey game, Richie.
You know, Ben, there's some days where you thrive, and then there's days you just survive. I think all around, everyone's just here trying to survive.
I think on any other hockey game, you'd be right. But in a game with this much playoff implications, you'd hope that a little more attention to detail would be paid attention to by the referees.
I agree.
𝗃𝗁𝗃 cuts to the outside. Throws one to the goal. It's off the stick of Yael Sharon and up into the glass. 𝗧𝗏 keeps it in. Throws it down low. Werik, centering feed for Voshilo. He shot one and it goes in on Zilavyan. He'll swipe it to the corner, but now a penalty coming up. Looks like this one's going to be on Haifa for a dive. going to call 𝗨𝗵𝗆 for embellishment.
And Tel Aviv is not.
Really wish I could have another look at that one. That was, I'm going to say, a weak call. We didn't see anything from the broadcast booth.
You know, 𝗏𝗏 cuts through two defensemen and stick on it. I don't know if he sold the contact or not, but referee thought he did. Whoa.
It's a player down by the side of Daniel Kreiner. Going back to that penalty, you saw Nathaniel Schwartz go up to the Tel Aviv bench and ask the Tel Aviv players what the hand signal the referee was giving was. And now we're going to have another penalty on Tel Aviv. It's 𝗏𝗏 going to the box.
Yeah, ref didn't like the shove in front.
Very shaky officiating in an important game like this one.
So now we got a 5-on-3 for Haifa. Probably the best time to send a message for the rest of the game.
Looks like we got the scoreboard back up as here's 𝗏𝗏 shooting one on goal and a glove save by Kreiner off his stick. So some good news here in One Ice Arena. To inch towards the end of the first period. Now we know there's 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in it. I think now that the referees notice that, they're just going to make sure everything's up to snuff. Try and put the penalties up on the board. But this is an extremely important opportunity for Haifa to get a lead in this game, Richie.
I think whoever scores the first goal obviously has the best odds because you send a message and it's hard to play when you're down. So the first goal is obviously most important. No better time to score it than now.
Tel Aviv needs to win to stay alive. They find themselves on a 5-on-3 penalty kill. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the first period. Gross, back to the point for Schwartz. Schwartz drifts in from the point. Gives to Gross. Back to Schwartz. Schwartz over to 𝗏𝗏. Buzz sliding to try and get a block, but 𝗏𝗏 holds the puck. Now gives it to Schwartz. Schwartz to Gross. No lane available, gives back to Schwartz. He shoots one off a body and wide. Gross drops it for Schwartz. Schwartz calling for it on the left side of the ice. Sends one down low to 𝗏𝗏, out in front, and that one just missed the far post off the leg of Max Buzz. Schwartz to Gross, he bobbled the pass. Schwartz looks, gives to 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 out in front, and good play by Janello to tie up the stick of 𝗏𝗏. Schwartz a drive, and he scores! The first goal of the season for Nathaniel Schwartz, and Haifa breaks the ice. It's 1-0.
Well, after burying it in the goalie's chest earlier in the game, he finally gets the monkey off his back. Buries one. 1-0 Haifa.
Boy, is he pumped. That's a big goal for Haifa.
I felt the same way after scoring against Tel Aviv too, because I got my first one against them. Getting the first one of the year, especially this late in the season, obviously has to feel good. Especially with how this game goes if they go into playoffs and he's on a scoring streak.
If they win this game in regulation, they will pass 𝗏𝗏 in the standings. 𝗏𝗏 with a chance to pass them right back, playing Netanya, but that will be tough. Of course, Netanya hasn't lost the game all season. Itai Bonder, back to the point from Amit Ben-Tov. Haifa still on the power play. Bondar cuts back, gives to Ben-Tov. Has Saunders on the far point. Ben-Tov opens up and gives to Bondar. Gets away from Ungerman, sends it over to Ryder. He shoots one, and there was 𝗨𝗏 to make the block. Bondar cuts the point with this one. Now to the outside, gets around.
They run in America. It's a 3- or 4-man system, usually 2 officials, 1 linesman. But when you have 2 guys doing the work of both referee and linesman, especially with this high of pace, sometimes things get missed. And that we've had a few games so far this season where it's been 3-man systems and it's been much more efficient.
Ben Baruch with my broadcast partner, 𝗵𝗂 Hayward, and Tel Aviv in must-win territory. If they lose another game, they are done for the season. Playing for their season. Now down a goal as we start the second period. The lack of a 𝗬𝗵𝗺 clearly continuing to be a factor. That one is chopped away by 𝗪𝗪𝗁, sent down low for 𝗵𝗂𝗆. 𝗵𝗂𝗆 spins one down low to 𝗪𝗪, chops one in front to 𝗃𝗁, and he shot it wide. 𝗵𝗂𝗆 hit hard by Nathaniel Schwartz, the goal scorer in that first period, and it's brought ahead by 𝗪, and he's taken down by 𝗏𝑧, and there's going to be a penalty. 𝗏𝑧 got the leg out on 𝗪, and I think that's one of the first good calls we've seen tonight.
I don't know about that, Ben. It looks like he gets him with his backside with his hip check form, but if there was extension, yes, I guess you got to call it, but that puts Tel Aviv back on the penalty kill, which they don't want to be right now.
I think when you're extended like that and you've got a knee-on-knee contact.
Yeah, it has to be called. 𝗬𝗏 obviously doesn't like the call, and I can understand if he's just going for the hip, but he's got to sit 2 minutes regardless.
Right. I think if you're Max 𝗏𝗏, you really got to try and follow through on that hit instead of just sticking your leg out.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So another penalty kill for HC Tel Aviv. They allowed a 5-on-3 goal in the first period. That's the only score we've got so far in this game, and they start the penalty kill with a clear. Reiter brings one ahead for Haifa. That one's caught cleanly by Fedor, and he'll send this one the length of the ice. Janello applying the pressure on 𝗵𝗏. Almost got the steal there, but puck bounces into center ice. Fedor again will send it deep. 𝗃𝗀𝗆 centers for Janello, got his stick tied up with Bentov, and it's brought the other way by Golodnitsky. Golodnitsky cuts behind the net, gets away from 𝗧𝗏. Taken by Bentov, trying to go out in front with this one, blocked away. Comes all the way for Reiter, he shoots one off the pad of Kreiner, still sitting in the crease, and then they're able to chop it out. Reiter, down low to Gross. Gross turning with this one, centers for Golodnitsky, he shoots one and a save by Daniel Kreiner. I think if you watch Daniel Kreiner's last game, he saw a totally different goalie than we've seen this entire season. He looks so much sharper than I've ever seen him in the previous 7 games he had played.
I agree. Sometimes, especially with goalies being around them a lot back home, I know if you get down on yourself, the season doesn't start out the way, and the way we won pretty handily as he lets one in here from 𝗵𝗏.
Speaking of which, there's a goal from Alex 𝗵𝗏, and it's 2-0 Haifa. Alex 𝗵𝗏's second goal of the season. He had a big one last night, and another one tonight makes it 2-0.
Well, that one, I won't give Kreiner a whole lot of slack for that one. There was a lot of traffic in front. Haifa did a good job making sure he didn't have the lane to see the puck, and 𝗵𝗏 just puts one by him. Now it's 2-0 Haifa.
It's a power play going while we've got a second. We have an announcement to make. Due to the 𝗬𝗵𝗺 issues and everything else going on tonight, we will not play the second game between Netanya and Bat Yam. That one is going to be scheduled for Thursday. When we have an exact time, we will let you know. Bonder brings it back in and shot one off the pad of Kreiner. So this is all the hockey you're getting from us tonight. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much issues to work out, and the hockey a little bit important at this stage of the season. It's the final week of the regular season with playoffs starting on Friday. Tried to make do, but I think one game is going to be a little bit too much for this sheet of ice.
Yeah, especially we see now just beginning the second period, there's a lot of people that can't handle the puck out here when they usually can. But obviously it's been a few hours, but cracks have become more prevalent, and with no water going down, it becomes tough to handle the puck. It becomes reminiscent of pond hockey to some degree. So best decision, especially with the playoff implications of both these games, to have the other one rescheduled to make sure everyone's on an even playing field.
There was a youth practice here before this game, so the ice has not been scraped in a long time, and that gets dangerous to a certain extent. There's ruts that start to build up in the ice, a lot of snow. Players can fall down in awkward situations near the boards. So player safety being taken into account here with the IEHL, and we will postpone Bat Yam Netanya to Thursday. In the meantime, Haifa leading this one by a score of 2-0. We will finish this game. 𝗬𝗏 controls it at the point. 𝗬𝗏 to the outside with this one. 𝗬𝗏 trying to go out in front. It was blocked away by 𝗪. Brought the other way by 𝗪𝗁. Gets it around Cohen, but sent it too far ahead. Ends up in the corner, and then he's taken down by Gibson. Battle for it ensues in the corner. They go 3-on-2. And now a penalty coming up against Orion Cohen. He hit 𝗪𝗪 too hard in the back, and another penalty going against Tel Aviv.
Yeah, at this point for Tel Aviv, you understand, and as he gets 10'd up, he gets the extra minor right there. Well, as we see with Tel Aviv now, you understand how the game's going to be officiated at this point. You understand you got to limit yourself on what you can get away with. And now so they're going on their third power play of the game. Haifa is, I should say.
If you're Tel Aviv, you must be really frustrated, especially if you're Orion Cohen. He's going to get at least 4 minutes. I would not be surprised if he's done for the night. Really frustrated after getting that call. Wasn't a particularly hard hit, but it was in the numbers. It was near the boards, and it's a tough call to make. 𝗬𝗏 now in the box as well, so.
I believe Cohen got the original, and 𝗬𝗏 said something that the ref didn't like, so this might be another 5-on-3. Unless one of the 10-minute misconduct. 2 and 10.
It's 2 and 10 for
Cohen.
Orion Cohen.
𝗬𝗏 serving.
So 𝗬𝗏's
serving the minor penalty. Okay.
there you go.
𝗧𝗲V𝗺.
𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗺, as we say here in Israel. A little more discussion being had. Just really shaky officiating going on tonight. A lot of weak calls, and they've been almost entirely against Tel Aviv.
It is interesting. Tel Aviv plays one with an edge naturally, and depending on the ref, they might allow certain things other refs don't allow. And like it goes back to my point earlier, where after one period, you should understand how the game's going to be officiated, whether you like it or not. And it's up to the players at that point to tone back and see what they can get away with. It's a little bit of gamesmanship on both sides, obviously. Obviously, Tel Aviv's failing the test right now with taking the penalties, but still plenty of hockey left.
Gross, he's hit hard by Bloom. No penalty there. And they'll get the clear. Kyle Ungerman gives chase. Picked up by Schwartz. Sends one ahead for Bentov, but onto the stick of 𝗀𝗏. 𝗀𝗏 spins one out in front, intended for Schwartz, intercepted by Ariel Kapulk, and he tries to spring Ungerman ahead. But the pressure from Tel Aviv forces it to the far blue line. Schwartz, though, able to bring it back in. With the help of 𝗀𝗏, creates some space at the point, throws one to the goal, and it went wide. Ryder chops it deep. Sadik there to turn it the other way, and now Ariel Kapulka trying to spring Bloom. Chopped down at center ice, and now Schwartz again will bring it right side for 𝗀𝗏. The drop for Itai Bentov, cuts to the outside, in front for 𝗀𝗏. It ended up in the pads of Kreiner and 𝗃𝗗v𝗺.
Well, there on Haifa's breakout, or break into the zone, I should say, they struggle a little bit getting set up, and I believe it's because the players that don't have the puck are just kind of puck watching. They're not filling open space looking for the pass. They're expecting the guy with the puck to make the play. Sometimes, especially off the puck, that's the most important when position comes in and everything. As Wayne Gretzky said, you don't want to go where the puck is, you want to go where it's going. And that's important on the power play as well, because plenty of open ice, got to become a passing lane. Option, I should say, passing option.
Haifa will go back to work on the power play. Maor Sheriff can't catch up to this one, and this is hoisted right over the glass. Are we going to have another penalty?
Just outside. Face off outside.
That one was right over the penalty box. if you're going to call any penalty, I think 𝗵𝗃 complaining for a penalty.
At very least an offensive zone draw.
I didn't see it go off a Haifa stick, but
Nope.
I guess referees having some mercy on Tel Aviv. Maybe the clearest penalty of the game so far, not called. Bondar says went in front for Sheriff and he shanked the shot. 𝗬𝗏 about to step out of the ice. He's got 22 seconds left on the penalty as 𝗵𝗃 runs 𝗵𝗆 hard into the boards. 𝗕𝗁𝗁 trying to return the favor as this one's sent back deep. 𝗵𝗃 will regroup. 𝗬𝗏 has the penalty box door open, cheating a little bit. Steps out onto the ice. It goes deep. 𝗬𝗏 will catch up to this one. Tries to send one out in front for 𝗫. Couldn't control it.
Ooh.
Late hit there on 𝗵𝗆, brought back in by Bondar for Haifa. Spins in the right circle. Bondar sends one to the goal off the skate of Federer, and then they score! Yael Sharon playing some baseball, and it's 3-0 Haifa.
Talk about that for hand eyes.
Have another look at it on the replay. That one's right underneath the post. Terrific hand-eye coordination, as you said, Richie, from Yael Sharon. What a way to score your first goal of the season.
Looks very similar to Mike Trout stepping up to the plate. Just knock it right out of the park. But now, you're Tel Aviv, you're down 3-0 about halfway through the second period. They're playing for their lives at this point. This half of hockey is probably the most important they're going to have all season.
They were able to take down the number 3 seed, the Jerusalem Capitals, on Friday. Find themselves down 3-0, playing, I guess, 2 sports, both hockey and baseball. 2 of the most unfamiliar sports to Israelis. And they're both on display here tonight at One Ice Arena.
Can't forget about Jacob Saunders, who also plays lacrosse for the Israeli national team.
You know, that sport's actually gaining a little bit more traction than you think.
He was telling me the national lacrosse team usually ranked around 6th or 7th in the world.
They reviewed the goal to make sure that it was under the crossbar. If the stick contact had been made above the height of the crossbar, then it would have been called back on a no goal, but deemed to be kosher, so we play on. Sent in front for 𝗧𝗏, and he turns with this one and a pad save by Kreiner. Price turns away from Kapolkin. He sends it ahead for 𝗧𝗏. 𝗧𝗏 in front for Ben Hamo. He shot one, and it's blockered aside by Kreiner. 𝗬𝗏 ahead to 𝗏𝗁. Drop feed for 𝗬𝗏. 𝗬𝗏 goes to the outside with this one. Cuts in the circle. Back to the point. 𝗏𝗁 trying to feed it over for 𝗬𝗏. Slams the stick. That was an easy pass to make, but couldn't make it crisply. 𝗬𝗏. Left side, Kapolkin. Goes behind the net, trying to get around Vinograd. Vinograd angled him off nicely and now sent it ahead for 𝗬𝗏. A little bit of trouble with this one, able to keep it away from Ethan 𝗬𝗏 and send it right side to Ben Hamo. Ben Hamo lost it in his skates, and it's Haifa Mariners so far, as that faceoff is deemed illegal. He's been arguably the sharpest goaltender in this entire league, and he's not even officially on any team.
Yeah, he's been lights out, and I will give the credit to all the goalies in the league. Everyone has been playing very well. My goaltender, Max Gockberg, has been playing lights out for us.
There's another good save by 𝗬𝗏 through his screen. 𝗬𝗏 started the year with Bat Yam, beat Tel Aviv twice, so this is 𝗬𝗏's 3rd time seeing 𝗵𝗃 Tel Aviv, and now he's going to see a 2-on-1 from them. Bloom with Janello. Bloom tried to get it over, and a weak shot hit the side of the net. Was blocked well by Saunders, and tie up right behind 𝗬𝗏. Janello threw one to the goal, and a save by 𝗬𝗏.
And we have a penalty on Haifa.
Indeed we do. It is Ariel Fischler going to the box, or maybe not, trying to see who makes it there. It's going to be number 3, not him either. Didn't see the play. It's going to be Jacob Saunders. Finally assessed the penalty. Couldn't get it on goal. Now 𝗁𝗏𝗧𝗧 clears the zone. 𝗏𝗏 has a little trouble with this one. Watches Jeremy Gross fly him by. Left side it comes to Bloom. 𝗁𝗏𝗧𝗧 able to muscle that one away from him. Good strength by 𝗁𝗏𝗧𝗧, but he stood up by Janello. Second effort too by Janello. Effective to slow down Daniel 𝗁𝗏𝗧𝗧, and then 𝗃𝗀𝗃 finally able to take the puck away. Here he comes. Sent across for Janello. Janello to the middle. Bloom couldn't handle that pass. Kept in the zone by Janello. Over to 𝗬𝗏, and he couldn't handle that one either. Really choppy ice out there at this point. There's that puck fluttering again. Janello able to cross. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 gets it. Now 𝗬𝗏. Saucers one down low. Now it comes to the side of the net. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 shot it off the side of the goal. Saunders getting ready to step out of the box. Schwartz will clear it down the ice again, and we are back to 5-a-side. 𝗬𝗏 back in for Tel Aviv.
Ooh.
𝗬𝗏 took a chop from Litvak, and now they're going at it. 𝗬𝗏 does not like that, and now a pile up behind the net. 𝗬𝗏 takes off the helmet of Alex Litvak. Tempers ablaze here at One Ice Arena between 𝗬𝗏 and Alex Litvak.
Well, we can see with Tel Aviv as a whole, things are it's starting to become to a boiling point with frustration, especially on that last power play. They had all 5 guys out. They were making plays, but with the ice conditions and just sheer puck luck, things aren't going the way they should be for them right now.
I'm willing to bet there are more penalties coming up against HC Tel Aviv after that infraction. Litvak will go to the box as well. So 𝗬𝗏 in the box again. So is Alex Litvak, who's been really effective for the Haifa Mariners since coming over from HC Netanya. The 37-year-old Israeli-Russian we mentioned scored that big goal on Friday, tying the game at 1 against Cologne. Looks like they're just going to get 2 and 2. Roughing calls each for 𝗬𝗏 and Alex Litvak. Maybe the open ice beneficial for Tel Aviv at this point in the hockey game. Janello and 𝗃𝗃𝗃 a little more room to skate out there.
We see 𝗬𝗏 still talking. It looked like he was talking to Haifa's bench. Like I said, I think it's just frustration for Tel Aviv right now. They've been battling all year, but sometimes things just don't go your way throughout an entire season, and sometimes that's just hockey.
It's been a tough go for the defending champions. It's interesting, they didn't have the greatest regular season last year either, and they were able to find their game come playoff time, but that was in an IEHL with only 4 teams, and all 4 teams made the playoffs, so they were able to get a little bit lucky and found a way to beat Cologne in that final game and won the championship. But this year, with elimination in play, looks like they're not really going to get that opportunity.
And if you look at the offseason and transactions as well and who they've acquired through the offseason, it's not like they toned down their talent at all. They brought in Ethan 𝗬𝗏. Ariel 𝗃𝗃𝗃 is playing in his first year in the IEHL, and we've seen their offensive on display. It just comes down to they got to figure out maybe next year how to make it work, because the talent is there, is absolutely there. It's just sometimes about putting it together.
If you're a betting man, I think you bet on Ethan 𝗬𝗏 being one of the best offensive players coming into this league this season, but only 5 goals and 9 assists for him for 14 points. Now that's obviously a point a game, but considering the numbers that players like Eliezer Sherbatov and David Levin and Phil Bushbacher have put up, you've got to be disappointed with the only player in this league who's actually an NHL draft pick, taken in the second round, 47th overall by the New York Rangers back in 2009. He played as high as the American Hockey League and currently plays in the Continental Hockey League in Russia.
He And I won't put it all on him either, because hockey's obviously a team sport. And I've been talking to Ethan a little personally too, and he said coming into this, he's had all brand new gear. And anyone knows how to play hockey, sometimes you have all brand new gear, including skates, and he had to step on the ice without any practice. Takes a little while to get fired up. As we see today, he's still flying around the ice and playing at that level. You can see the frustration. Sometimes, because like you said, to be that skilled, and sometimes things just don't go your way, it can be frustrating for everybody.
You're absolutely right, Richie. Just a little review of 𝗵𝗺𝗃's stats. He had 65 goals and 79 assists for 144 points in 388 AHL games. That's the American Hockey League, the minor league of the National Hockey League over in the United States, playing with the Portland Pirates, Providence Bruins, Charlotte Checkers, and the Texas Stars. Before that, he had 128 points in only 55 games in the Greater Toronto Hockey League. That's the GTHL in 2006-2007. Anyone who knows the GTHL knows what players came out of that league. You're talking players like Connor McDavid, John Tavares. Any top NHL player from the Toronto area has played in that league. So he was a former Canadian Hockey League top prospect. He was a second-round draft pick by the Rangers back in 2009, as we mentioned. Traded for Oscar Lindberg in May 2011. Trade was between the Rangers and then the Phoenix Coyotes, and Oscar Lindberg was a big part of that Rangers Cup run back in 2014. So not a nothing piece 𝗏𝗏 was traded for. Won a Czech title in 2019 and now playing with China at the Olympics. Had 1 assist in 4 games played and 69 assists in 158 games played with the Cleveland Red Star over in the Continental Hockey League. So quite the resume for Ethan 𝗏𝗏, a point-a-game player, obviously, we mentioned, but looks like his Tel Aviv team will probably not be making the playoffs this year, barring a miracle comeback in the third.
And it shows with guys like 𝗏𝗏 too. They come here and they want to win too. You don't get that frustrated if you don't care about the game a little bit. And obviously with the Zamboni and with the scoreboard and everything already running late, it's just little things that boil up every now and then. But like I said, it's because he wants to win. With the resume that he has, he still comes here and wants to come play in the Israel Elite Hockey League. And that just speaks volumes to how much he wants to be here and help Tel Aviv win.
Absolutely right. And like you mentioned, just emotions. Like hockey is a game where you really need to find a way to control your emotions. And a tough game like this, and credit Haifa for putting on a tremendous display of hockey considering all the tough conditions we've been mentioning throughout this broadcast. Mm-hmm. They've been flying out there tonight, and Arthur 𝗧𝗏𝗺's been rock solid in goal again.
Mm-hmm. They've really put it together these last few games, especially starting out with the way they had it. It wouldn't hurt to try new things, and they found things that work. They've got the lines right. They got the way they want to play hockey down, and it's now paying off in the long run. Especially with Nathaniel Schwartz stepping up, and in my opinion, he has been the best performer in the IEHL on defense so far.
There's a Norris Trophy in the IEHL. He absolutely deserves it. As we play a little bit of 4-on-4 here, comes back Vinograd. Then down low to 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗏. He couldn't handle that pass, so Buzz will send it all the way around towards Voshilo, but out of his reach. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 back to get it for the Mariners. Now Vinograd. Left side, 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗏. He's picked up by Buzz as well as 𝗃𝗃 from behind. 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗏 goes behind the net, has Ryder parked in front, tries to find him with a pass, but a good stick by Buzz to break it up. 𝗃𝗃 trying to get around the defense there. Ryder stood him up. Brought back in by 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗏 able to hold the line. 𝗃𝗃 drags and shoots, and it went wide, hit the post. Daniel Kreiner not ready for that shot. It got slowed down at the last minute. 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗏 battling for that one at center ice. Buzz gave it to 𝗧𝗏, but he turned it over. Gross curled it over to Ryder. He backhanded one towards the goal, blocked away by Voshilo. Now sent right back ahead by Haifa. Tel Aviv trying to finish the change. They're caught deep. Only 2 men back. Schwartz shoots. He scores! Second goal of the game for Nathaniel Schwartz, and it's a 4-0 lead.
Well, that's on the Tel Aviv forward, so that's a bad change in the second period, letting up a 4-on-2 like that. Haifa again takes advantage, and again, it's my man 𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗎 potting his second of the night.
A breakdown in coverage and an awfully timed change from the Tel Aviv bench. They only had 2 players back on defense.
And sometimes that happens, and I harp on it a lot on the Holon bench when we get down to it. In the second half of the second period, legs are tired, play starts to break down. It's important to keep those shifts short and not get caught like that, because especially as a defenseman, if you're caught in your far zone in the second period for 1:30, 2 minutes, it becomes exponentially harder to change. So at that point, you're just praying for a whistle. And on the flip side, you get changes like that on forward where there's not that hard back check because guys are gassed, and Tel Aviv just paid for it.
The mental game continues to affect Tel Aviv here tonight. Now down 4-0 with 3:05 left to go in the second period. Bondar taken away by Feder. Looks to send one up ahead. He gets around Bentov, who was flat-footed. Launched ahead, and Cherry picked out of the air by Schwartz, and he'll bring it right back in. Schwartz drags around Kislyk, but he couldn't get the puck to come with him. Good play by Kislyk to stand him up in the defensive zone, and now it's 𝗬𝗏𝗃 out of the box. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 bobbled the puck to the outside, trying to drag around Litvak. Saucered one out in front for Kislyk, and he fanned on that shot. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 looking skyward again as here's Bentov on a breakaway. Bentov shoots and a save by Kreiner. Sheriff out in front for Bentov, and he chopped it high.
Again, Tel Aviv slow to get back on the forecheck. Almost paid for it once again.
Here's 𝗬𝗏𝗃 starting to rush. Gives it left side for 𝗧𝗏𝗃. Curls away from Litvak. Out in front looking for 𝗬𝗏𝗃. He'll get this puck in the slot. Shoots one that's blocked. The follow-up chance is gloved down by 𝗬𝗏𝗺. Ribe curls one to the other side of the ice, and 𝗧𝗏𝗃 will pick this one up, trying to turn away from Zisterman. This one rides the ledge of the boards. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 will kick it down, but to the wrong team. Here's Sheriff in front for Zisterman, and he shot it wide. Litvak has to move this one quickly, able to keep it away from 2 Tel Aviv players. They throw it in on goal, and a save by Kreiner.
Well, Tel Aviv's obviously thinking offense first because they need 4 goals coming down in their season right here they're playing for. But that's another important shift where you got to get back on defense. If you want the puck to go play on offense, you got to win it back first. So we see flybys at the point, the puck not clearing the blue, and that's another sustained shift for Haifa in the offensive zone.
Turnover off the faceoff. It's collected by Ethan Bloom. He stood up by Ryder, but a 2-on-1 for Tel Aviv. Centering feed out in front for Gibson was behind him. Now it's Jacob Horowitz the other way for Haifa. Head to Parasol. That one got away from him, so Max Buzz collects for Tel Aviv, trying to spring 𝗧𝗏𝗃, but good forecheck by Fischler. Second effort, though, is sent out of the zone by Tel Aviv. Can't get it all the way down, though. Brought back in by Ryder. Ryder to the outside, cuts in, and a save by Kreiner. Lead pass ahead for Gibson, intercepted. Then it's brought out of the zone by Ungerman. Ahead to Bloom. Bloom back to Ungerman. He shoots one and whistles wide. Ryder able to clear the zone. Fischler goes hard into the wall. He's hit by Gibson. Battle for the puck near the Tel Aviv bench. Gibson still working on Fischler. Puck is free. It comes to Max Buzz. Gibson sends it back towards his own blue line. Feed ahead for Bloom was over his stick. Ryder able to get towards Parasol, but there's a big hit by Bloom on Parasol. Collected by Golonitsky at the red line with 18 seconds left in the period. Stolen away by Kapolkin, then chopped back in by Ryder. Back and forth play with this choppy ice. Tel Aviv elects to clear it ahead, but a stoppage of play. We might have a too many men call. Six players on the ice for one team. It looks like Haifa is getting penalized.
Well, if you're Tel Aviv now, you play for pride. You start the third period on the power play for a long time. Gotta make something happen here. �𝗏𝗏𝗏 will serve the bench minor.
Just as a note, Orion Cohen is back on the Tel Aviv bench. Only 7 seconds left in the second period, though. Important power play for Tel Aviv if they want any chance of coming back. They need 4 goals to tie this hockey game. Back to the point for 𝗧𝗃. Over to 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 shoots one into the glove of 𝗬𝗏. Clock has run down. We'll see if they put time back on. They'll put 2 seconds back on the clock, so one last face-off play for Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv just wants it to run, but the refs don't, so we'll have these 2 seconds.
Frustration for Tel Aviv really boiling over. They don't even put 5 guys on the ice.
They only have 3 guys out there.
And then some chipping after the penalty, after the whistle, and we've got gloves flying everywhere. Nathaniel Schwartz goes after 𝗏𝗏 and a pile-up on the far side of the ice.
As 3 Tel Aviv players come off the ice, or come off their bench, I should say.
They come off the bench for a fight, but not to drop the puck on a face-off.
I counted at least 3 Tel Aviv players jumping the bench looking to get in that altercation.
A lot of frustration here at One Ice Arena. Orion Cohen again going at it with the referees. Gross was in the middle of that one. I believe it was Sean Voshilo. No, excuse me, it was 𝗀𝗏 who threw the initial hit after the whistle. Jeremy Gross went right after 𝗀𝗏. And now things starting to calm down as time has finally expired in the second period. We'll take a quick break here from One Ice Arena and be back for the third period here on the Israel National Hockey Society YouTube channel. שים על זה על מיוט. Nobody in the penalty box right now. We did see the referees motion for a goal. Excuse me, for a penalty. Right now it's only 𝗵𝗃 in the box, and I think after everything started to settle down, we saw Tel Aviv come to their bench and start to talk things over. I'd like to see a renewed focus from them in this third.
I agree. Especially when it's very easy to get in your own head and then just mentally check out and the score gets run up. They're good. They're a good enough team where that doesn't have to happen, and they can play for some pride here this period.
If they can't figure it out in the next 15 minutes, the defending champions will be heading home early this summer, and there will be a new IEHL just listening into that conversation with Janelle and the referees, there's still some frustration from HC Tel Aviv.
Absolutely, especially Janelle being the team captain. He's trying to show passion and keep the team in this.
This one comes to Janello. The IEHL all-time leader in points. Under 15 minutes away from seeing his team out of the playoffs, but there's 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗀 scoring a goal on the power play.
That is absolutely what Tel Aviv needed right now.
Goal will come 4-on-4. So it's 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀 cutting into the Haifa lead, and less than a minute into the third period, Tel Aviv has a little bit of life.
They needed that one, like I said, so let's see if that shifts momentum a little bit.
Play 4-on-4 for another minute and 15 seconds, after which Haifa. But here comes 𝗧𝗏. 𝗧𝗏 in front for 𝗃𝗀𝗃, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Tel Aviv buzzing early in the third. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 goes behind the net with this one. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 drifts to the point. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 throws one through, got blocked by Bonder, didn't see it land right in front of him, so 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗺 will pick it up and move it ahead. Janello on the back check, the drop for Bonder. Bonder shoots it and went wide.
Once again, one of the Tel Aviv forwards has to back check there. That's a trailer getting a clean look in the slot.
Here's 𝗃𝗀𝗃 out in front for 𝗪𝗃, win and go. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 again, finds 𝗪𝗃, over to Janello. Janello shoots and it's blocked by 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃. That will not go down for icing. 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 trying to chip it away from 𝗪𝗃. He'll have to bring it 200 feet. Good strength by 𝗪𝗃. Cuts to the outside. Spins away with this one. Has 𝗏𝗏 coming off the bench. Finds him with a pass. 𝗏𝗏 a drive and it goes wide. 𝗪𝗃 gets it down low. Top to 𝗪𝗃. In front for Bloom. Back in front to 𝗪𝗃 and he couldn't handle it. 𝗪𝗃 will pick this one up in the corner. Chop it around for Bloom. Has 𝗨𝗪 at the point. Bloom sees the pressure and goes behind the net. 𝗪𝗃 is gassed. He's heading to the bench. Tel Aviv in the middle of a change. Ungerman comes out onto the ice. Flew past that puck, but Buzz back there to make a defensive play for Tel Aviv. Bloom ahead to Ungerman. Tries to get around Schwartz. Those two tie up the far wall. It comes down low for 𝗨𝗪. 𝗨𝗪 left it for Ungerman. But Schwartz in there as well. Puck comes free, handled by 𝗨𝗪. Back to the point for Buzz. Buzz to 𝗨𝗪, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Schwartz, he'll elect to clear this one all the way down. This one does have the speed for an icing.
Well, now we see from Tel Aviv, they got their foot on the pedal now. Haifa doesn't want to just sit back and continue to absorb the pressure. They got to go on the attack at some point.
About 2. 𝗪𝗃 able to settle it down and bring it ahead. Right side, 𝗃𝗀𝗃 trying to drag around. It ends up on the stick of 𝗪𝗃. Back to Janello. To 𝗪𝗃. Janello, top of the point. This way to 𝗀𝗪𝗃. 𝗧𝗏 cuts in. Sends it over. 𝗪𝗃 steps. Sends it back in front. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 shoots. 𝗪𝗏 the save. And the net comes off.
That's good sustained pressure once again from Tel Aviv. They got all 5 guys out there that they want to for this incredible good power play, and it's showing. They're moving the puck. Haifa just got it changed too, so let's see if they can keep the pressure up against fresh legs. But a little bit of an ice still going Tel Aviv's way right now.
Absolutely right, Richie. And Haifa is lucky that net came off. Artur Zalabian moved hard to his right and forced the net off his post. 𝗃𝗁 back to the point for Janello off the faceoff. Sends one towards the goal, bouncing puck on goal, and a save by 𝗧𝗏𝗺. And he's able to swap that one to the corner. 𝗃𝗁 sends one out in front, and 𝗧𝗏𝗺 will cover up. 24 seconds left on the power play. Down low to 𝗏𝗏. Turning away from Litvak. Good strength by 𝗏𝗏 to hold off Litvak. He cuts to the goal and he hit the post. Back to the point for 𝗃𝗁. Right side 𝗧𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 goes down in front of the net. It comes to 𝗃𝗁 and he shoots. And there's 𝗧𝗏𝗺 to make another save.
Tel Aviv's buzzing right now. They're doing exactly what you need to against this goalie, where he's too good, where if he's looking at you and he's in place, he's going to make the save every time. You got to get him moving, get screens, get bodies in front. Even though it hasn't gone in quite yet, it's looking good.
Power play for Jeremy Gross is about to expire. 𝗏𝗏 trying to get this one in deep towards Daniel Gibson. That was out of his reach, so it's brought back the other way by Haifa. Here's 𝗃𝗏𝗺. Drop feed for 𝗧𝗏𝗺. Ungerman there to break it up. Comes to 𝗵𝗃𝗆. He's cross-checked from behind. No call. 𝗧𝗏𝗺. Chopped away by 𝗏𝗏. 𝗧𝗏𝗺 still with the puck. Chops it down low. Ungerman trying to bring it out. Gibson will clear the zone. Tel Aviv needs another exit. They'll look to 𝗀𝗏𝗺 to do it. Vinograd has it in his skates taken by Ariel 𝗃𝗁 though. Tel Aviv able to set up again. 𝗃𝗏𝗆.
Good
to
pass.
𗗃𝗁. 𝗃𝗁 moves right in. He shoots in a pad save by 𝗧𝗏𝗺. Good pass set up. Good chance for Ariel 𝗃𝗁. Brought back in by 𝗃𝗏𝗆. Cuts in front, and he couldn't get a shot away. Collision in front of the goal. Gross went down to the ice, but it's brought ahead by Janello. Trailing him is 𝗃𝗁. Janello opens up, tries to feed one out in front. He fanned on that pass. Got it back in the corner, muscles it back to the point for 𝗏𝗏. Sends one to the goal. 𝗃𝗁 the tip, but it went wide still. 𝗃𝗁 feeds that in front. Janello throws one to the goal on a pad save. Comes out in front for Kisluk, and then 𝗃𝗁 chopped it over the goal. 𝗃𝗁 drags away from two defenders, sends one out in front, and it's held to the post by Artur 𝗧𝗏𝗺.
Like I said, Haifa needs to get it going here. You can't just be sitting back all period because, like I said, one of these are going to go in. As we've seen with the Toronto Maple Leafs over the past half decade or so, when they get comfortable leads, they like to sit back, and there's a reason to have the most blown leads out of any team in that period. I'm seeing a little bit of Maple Leafs vibes from the Haifa Mariners right now. Just content.
Anyone who watches the NHL knows that, I believe it was in December, January, the Toronto Maple Leafs had particularly about 5 or 6 games where they blew 3.
Mm-hmm. And that's something they do every season, multiple times.
But this is the Israel Elite Hockey League, Richie, and teams don't get content. At least, they're not supposed to.
They shouldn't. Hockey's hockey, baby.
So it comes back to the point. Battle for it near the blue line is collected by IEHL Sharon. Sent ahead for 𝗖𝗵𝗺. Bondar has one man to beat. It's Kisluk. Beats him. And almost beat Kreiner, too, coming out to challenge. Schwartz gets that one and ships that off the penalty box glass. Bondar sends it back to Schwartz. Playing a little bit of offense here. Here's Schwartzen on goal. To the backhand and a save by Kreiner, and they score! The puck's in the net. Is it Schwartz?
Ref hasn't put a hand up or anything. Haifa thinks they've scored.
No official signal yet from the referees. They're going to talk about it. If it's Schwartz, it's a hat trick.
And they wave no goal.
Looks like Kreiner was interfered with, so they're going to call this back on goalie interference. So just when Haifa looked like they were turning on the offense, no goal, and we remain 4-1.
None other than Nathaniel Schwartz coming in clutch, making a big-time play, getting the ice flipped, so it's an offensive zone draw for Haifa.
It's a game of the season for Nathaniel Schwartz.
Besides the All-Star game, he was looking good in that as well. I hope we all were.
Offensive game that actually counts.
Fair enough.
off the face-off. It's Benzov. Comes to Golodnitsky, and there was Federer to tie him up, and he throws him hard to the ice. Lead pass ahead for Janello, intercepted by Vinograd. Janello returns the favorite center ice, but
we got I think that was a slash behind the play on Jeremy Gross, 𝗀𝗏𝗃, the offender.
We have penalties coming up. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 getting into it with the referee. See what that was. One player not happy coming back to the Tel Aviv bench. Here's Gross trying to drag around, but he lost the puck. 𝗏𝗃, left side to Ungerman. Benzov picks him up off the bench. Centering feet out in front, intended for 𝗏𝗃. He chops at that one, and I think 𝗬𝗏𝗺 got a piece of it.
Just stretch the toe out, keeps his team alive. Now at this point, legs are too heavy. Maybe a culmination of both, but being down by 3 like that and just not generating anything on defense, that's been their struggle all game, and it's still coming back to bite them.
Zisterman collects this one at center ice and will bring it in. Zisterman shoots one off the leg, bounces in on Greiner, and he'll make the save.
Are just teenagers, young as 14 years old, playing against grown men, sometimes for the first time. And you can see with the maturity and as the season goes on that they've stepped up to the task of playing against players much older than they are, and they've been able to put it together as a team.
That one came in front for Zisterman. He is that youngest player you're mentioning at 14 years old. Comes back to the point for Vinograd. Steps and shoots, and it goes wide. Maurice Sheriff now in the corner. Feeds one out in front, intended for Ben Hamo. Buzz got in the way of that one. He'll chop it off the near boards, ahead for Voshilo. Now Janello centers it for 𝗃𝗁. He's skating the wrong way, so he has to collect it in center ice, and then he'll chop it in. 𝗃𝗁 tries to send one out in front. He finds Buzz at the point. Buzz a drive and a pad save by 𝗬𝗏𝗺, and it sticks to him. With a moment now, we'll remind you that we have no second game for you tonight. If you've been with us the entire game, you know that the Zamboni is not working here in One Ice Arena. We have not cleaned the ice at all tonight. There was a youth hockey practice before this, so really chippy ice so far tonight, and for the safety and I think fair competition of all players involved, we will not play the 𝗃𝗏𝗺 tonight. That game scheduled now for Thursday at 8:45. This one brought in offside. Despite the chippy ice, Richie, I think we've seen pretty good hockey from both sides here tonight.
I agree. Even though the stick handling may not all be there, it's been very north-south as a game. It's not like one team has been more dominant than the other. It's been a constant ebb and flow throughout the game, but I would still call, in general, for the entire game, it's been pretty even.
I think the difference for Haifa has really been Artur 𝗬𝗏𝗺 in this one. Tel Aviv has had a lot of good chances on goal, and 𝗬𝗏𝗺's really been up to the task.
And I agree, and also it's up to Haifa too, because they have, when Tel Aviv starts taking penalties, getting frustrated, they capitalize on the opportunities. 𝗬𝗏 makes big-time plays, scores 2 goals for them, almost a third, and sometimes that's all you need, just outwork the opponent, essentially.
Here is Schwartz, as you mentioned, sending it ahead for Parasol. 𝗏𝗏𝗃 back to break it up. Gets the puck back, and here he comes. Ethan 𝗏𝗏𝗃, under 2 minutes to play in the third period, tries to go to his backhand, but good play by Litvak to stay with him. Janello wanted a penalty, was screaming about it from the bench. Cohen a drive, tipped on goal, save made, rebound in front for Gibson. Now a backhand chance for Kisloke, he can't put it home. Now right side for Benzov, and it's a 3-on-1. Benzov steps, shoots in a blocker save, the rebound by Sharon. Puck was bouncing. Janello fresh off the bench.
We got a little scuffle on Tel Aviv's bench. This shows the frustration coming. I'm not sure which 2 players it was, but obviously a little frustration both from everyone, and now we see Tel Aviv just kind of being lackadaisical on the forecheck.
Looks like Ungerman and I believe it was Max Rye. Now they're talking on the bench. Also,
and they're
𝗧𝗏
still going at it. Looks like Maximilian Rye and 𝗀𝗏𝗃 getting at it with each other, airing out their grievances.
Bloom needs to hold him back as here's 𝗏𝗏𝗺 into the zone for Tel Aviv. 𝗏𝗏𝗺 tries to cut around, couldn't stay with it. But now penalty coming against Tel Aviv. Hasn't that been the story of the night?
Yeah, it's 𝗨𝗏𝗺 just not coming back on the back check. He said 𝗬𝗏𝗺 just gave him the gate, it looks like.
Better having some words with the referee there. They're not nice ones. Referee wants 𝗏𝗺 off the bench or the penalty box, and he's done for the night. Tough way for 𝗨𝗏𝗺 to go out. He's had a really good season, and there's another save by Daniel Kreiner.
Well, you just hope at this point no one does anything stupid and someone comes out injured out of this. Just play the 43 seconds down and call it a night.
So power play for Haifa for the remainder of this hockey game, unless they score on it. 𝗏𝗏𝗺 back to the point for Vinograd. Gives it over to Ryder, then back to Vinograd. Sends it hard over for 𝗏𝗏𝗺, couldn't handle it. Gross now, the drop for 𝗏𝗏𝗺. 𝗏𝗏𝗺 out in front looking for Ryder. The pass was all the way over, but out of his reach. This one's chopped down at center ice. Tel Aviv can't bring it in though. Gross brings it in onside. The drop for 𝗏𝗏𝗺. 𝗏𝗏𝗺 shoots one off the leg of Janello. As the clock,
Good block by Janello. He still wants it even with the circumstances.
As time will run out here at One Ice Arena, and the defending champs are defending no more. Tel Aviv eliminated from playoff contention with a 4-1 Haifa win. They move into playoff position, surpassing the Bat Yam Dolphins. And an exciting final 3 days of IEHL hockey left to play. Richie, your final thoughts on this hockey game?
Haifa earned it 100%. Like I said, with the rough start they had to the season and even battling through injuries for some of their guys, they found a way into the playoff picture, all things considered, especially as an expansion team. Tel Aviv, sometimes during a whole season, it just comes down to puck luck and things don't go your way. Let's see what they do during the offseason and maybe come back stronger for next year.
That'll do it for hockey here from One Ice Arena tonight. Hopefully, much better circumstances and a much better clean sheet of ice to entertain you with. But for now, for my broadcast partner, Ritchie Hayward, I'm Ben Baruch saying good night.
𝗨𝗏𝗺.